New Call of Duty is coming out soon, and it's coming at us from Treyarch. So today I'm going to go over the idea of what Treyarch can really do to improve Warzone, and most of all, this is going to be the 5 things that I think Treyarch can do to absolutely turn around the way that you play Warzone and the new Call of Duties. Now, with that being said, we're most likely about to get the reveal. Most likely in June, as that's generally around the time when all the Call of Duties are announced. They originally were usually around E3, which of course is no more, but with Xbox now owning all of the overarching games, we're looking to see probably around middle to end of June with the brand new Call of Duty. And it's, again, headed by Treyarch, and it has been in development for the longest that we've actually had, over 3 years now, for one Call of Duty game. Generally, they only have a couple of years to work on them, so this is the longest development cycle for a Call of Duty game since I can remember. But with new releases for Call of Duty, we always see a Warzone overhaul, so that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Now, the first thing that we need to cover is rumors. The next Call of Duty is going to be set in the Gulf War, ran by Treyarch, with, again, a potential return to round-based zombies. We'll see about that. But one of the largest leaks is that the idea that Verdansk is returning to Warzone. Inside of Modern Warfare 3, we played in flashbacks in the story for Verdansk and were able to see some of the areas again reimagined. So this rumor leak could actually prove to be true. Now, we're going to start in on our list on the top 5 things that I think that Treyarch can do to improve Warzone. Number 1 is stop sunsetting maps and add proper rotations without breaking the base game squad sizes. So what I mean by that is stop getting rid of old maps to add new maps. Other games like Apex have been keeping every map that they have and adding new ones to the rotations. Even if we only have access to some of the old maps sometimes for either limited game modes or just for a weekend playlist, I think that removing these assets while still having them in the game is absolutely silly. If you have played Urzikstan, you know that it's the newest map inside of Warzone. But if you own Modern Warfare 3 and you play zombies and you go into the Dark Rift, you end up inside of Al Mazrah on some of it. So why do we still have Al Mazrah still inside of the game if we don't have access to it? If you played the story in Modern Warfare 3, you have access to parts of Verdansk, but we can't go back to it. We keep having access to these old maps in different forms and fashions, but we keep having them removed. We need to stop removing these maps and actually adding them back into the rotation. And again, the other part of this is stop breaking game squad sizes. Stop removing duos from the playlist. Stop removing solos from the playlist randomly halfway through a season. We need to keep quads through solos for both Rebirth or Resurgence and Big Mac BR every time. And then one of the massive things, especially that people have been talking about after the high trip, limited game mode that we had in Rebirth Island, we need LTMs back with fun gameplay loops. Something that just breaks up the standard gameplay style and allows us to play things a little bit differently. Whether that is the zombie game mode that was, of course, the infamous mode that everybody wanted back from Verdansk that we've seen quite a few times now, the high trip Resurgence or Armor Royale, or anything that can just change the way that the game plays. Make everybody juggernauts for a day. I don't care, but at least give people a break from the standard day in, day out of the same gameplay loop. It will go a long way for reducing gameplay fatigue and actually have a reason for players to come back and try things if they can try something different. Point number 2, scrap everything from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. We have tried multiple times. In the first Warzone, we tried it again in Warzone 2.0. We tried it again with Urzikstan. But every time we bring the old weapons forward, they become absolutely worthless. They fail every time. No matter the loadout system, all of the previous generation weapons fall short and never see balance. They never see proper balance unless a random bug looking at you, Lockwood 300 or attachment, is released that makes them extremely OP. And honestly, I think the devs are having a stupid hard time trying to balance these things. Or maybe it's just the money that they want out of the new weapons and they don't care if the old ones are balanced or not. But realistically, the carry forward system for the weapons, absolutely useless. When is the last time you actually saw somebody run these primaries or secondaries or any of the other ones from Modern Warfare 2 inside of Warzone's Urzikstan? It's very, very rare. Just get rid of it. Keep the operators, sure, because everybody has a favorite operator. But man, all of the old weapons, they're just fail sauce. Get rid of them. Number 3, improve on the loadout system to offer more fun ways to play the game. I'm going to say something controversial. Maybe it's brave. I don't know. But Vanguard did it best. And not because of the 10 attachment system, but because of the way that they offered their weapons. When we were given the option that these aftermarket parts were coming in, it was a new way to play some of your favorite weapons. Most of them are useless. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the aftermarket parts don't go far enough to offer a new gameplay style. They generally are just very weak versions of whatever the original was. So I'm not seeing the aftermarket part as a successful option. Sure, it's nice to be able to have them, but again, unless it's the Jack Raven kit, I don't think anybody really runs any aftermarket parts. Most of them are pretty useless. So we need to have our first our attachments narrowed down. We don't need 39 scopes with 3 of them that are functional. We don't need 45 vert grips where one is statistically superior on every level. We need to cut this down to something that's easy to work through. We don't have to have a giant list, and most of all, offers variety. If you're going to have vert grips, each one of them need to offer something different. Give me one that does hip fire, give me one that does movement, give me one that does sprint to fire, and then give me one that gives me a long range accuracy. I don't need all 4 of them to offer me hip fire, accuracy, recoil control, sprint to fire, and then all of them just to slow down my aim walking speed and my ADS speed. I don't need that. We don't need them. None of them look visibly different enough for it to matter. And most of all, you don't have to render as many skins. Save your own self some work. Just give us something that actually affects the gameplay. We don't need 90 of them. Okay. This whole idea right here of breaking down the loadouts allows for build varieties to exist. Strafe builds, movement builds, laser beam accuracy rifle builds, quickscope builds, long shot, reduced flints, glass cannons. The more viability in builds that we have as a player, the more fun that people can have and the more creative people can get with them. Yes, of course, we'll have broken meta things. That's never going away. But if I know that the broken meta is a absolutely slow laser accuracy build, if I build a crazy strafe build, I can at least take them on a little bit different. And it allows players to approach the game how they want to play rather than whatever you want them to pay to buy a bundle that is going to just play the same as every other weapon in the game. But I digress. Stop prioritizing resurgence inside of BR. This is point 4, and this is a big one for me because it drives me absolutely insane. Flares, redeploys, gulag tokens, portable buys, buy stations, jailbreaks, all of that inside of Battle Royale makes it not matter if you die. Battle Royale, the premise was a bunch of people go in, you try to survive, you try to be the last one standing, you win the game. But there's so much frustration when you wipe a team 7 times, but they just keep coming back. You do not feel like you earned anything from taking them out. And then even worse, to see them win the game after you physically took them out 6-7 times is absolutely frustrating because that's no longer them being better than you. That's them just finding random tokens on the ground. It's awful. And Warzone has always played the best when it felt like when you died, it meant something, or whenever you got one of those big kills, it meant something. Another part of that is when you remove the idea of resurgence from BR, you can increase the player count back. Player counts are back to 150 or even the astronomically crazy Verdansk days of 200 players. We only had it for a minute, but we had it. was absolutely insane. And I know it overcrowded some of the POIs and maybe it was hard on the servers, but man, we need to get back to the 150 days. Mid-game right now is absolutely dead because the entire premise is the idea that these people are supposed to come in, find these tokens, and get back into the fight. But it doesn't happen that way. Most of them drop in, die, gulag, die, and then we have 3 teams left at Circle 4 or Circle 3, or, you know, and they have just hoarded all these tokens. So it's no longer all these teams have another chance to fight. It's 3 teams have 100 chances to die, and it's just multiplayer again. It's 6v6 multiplayer on a massive map where you don't fight anybody for 15 minutes. For the love of everything holy, stop trying to make BR Resurgence and make it Battle Royale. It plays better that way. It makes better stories for when you're telling it to your friends about the wins that you got or the almost win that you got. It's a bigger rush of winning is way higher when you don't have to deal with the fact that one team that maybe they're the sweatiest team ever to exist in Call of Duty Warzone comes back 5 times for free and then beats you after you actually worked hard for rotations and, you know, buying the items you need, getting your loadout, fighting off 100 teams, but then you get jumped by the team that has decided to resurge 5 times and now you just lose because you didn't find 15 tokens. It makes everything feel so much better, honestly. It was a better time and far less frustrating.
Okay, I saved you. There was someone else who was pushing you.
Now, point 5 is going to be one where I'm probably going to have the most people argue with me on this one, but it's going to be better for everybody. Reduce the effectiveness of AA auto-rotation. Now, anybody who plays keyboard and mouse right now is going, yay, he said it. And then anybody playing controller right now goes, mine doesn't do the things that everybody else says it's doing. Those people are cheating anyways. But here's the thing. It's been the crux of the community since it was found. Soon as someone found out that aim assist auto rotation existed in the game, it's been the scapegoat of every keyboard and mouse player for why they lose and every controller player why the other person has to be cheating because theirs doesn't do it. Honestly, just damn near nerf it to the ground because at this point, I'm tired of dealing with it. And anybody who's already good on controller will get used to it in no time and be back to where they were. And anybody who was just abusing it on controller, good, they can suffer. I don't care. And realistically, it's taken to the point where players who are good can no longer be good because either it's just AA that they're using and that's the only reason they win, or they just get called out as being a cheater, and then it doesn't matter how good they are because they can't stop people from calling them a cheater. So realistically, a lot of times people don't even know that AA, aim assist, falls into 2 categories. Aim assist auto rotation is the enemy. Everybody I see that comes into my channel to talk about it, they always talk about, hey, we need to nerf AA. No, you don't. AA is just aim assist. It is just a slowdown. If you didn't have that, all you guys are spinning in circles, absolutely missing everything. The auto rotation is your enemy, and specifically how little effort's required to actually activate it. People will force stick drift on their controller just so they don't have to do anything to actually activate auto rotation. Absolutely dumb. So what we need to do is first make it that if you have constant motion, it no longer activates auto rotation because that'll prevent the stick drift trick and the weird programs that people use to force stick drift tricks. That's a whole nother day for another topic. And then force a actual deliberate impact or input for action and add a delay buffer. So what that means is instead of whenever someone jumps around the corner and you're walking, it doesn't instantly track that person as they jump across the corner because you just happen to be looking that direction. You need to actually change directions with the player, and you need to start tracking the player before the aim assist slows down / aim rotation, auto rotation kicks in. I'd recommend like a 50 millisecond delay, at least something that forces the player to actually have to know that they're about to be tracking a player rather than just relying on some program inside the game of doing it for them. It will make the skill ceiling for controller players significantly higher. People who are actually good at the game, you'll be like, wow, that person's actually good at the game, rather than going, that guy was cheating or he just got the most insane aim assist ever in the game. And when players can actually see players are actually good, they have something to strive for, and they actually want to get better. Obviously, we have to deal with cheaters all the time, and that is an absolute nightmare. But what this means is also, because the auto assist rotation doesn't just instantly kick in, this will actually help Ricochet and its AI detection be able to catch more cheaters that are actually using walls and aimbots and soft locks and all that stuff, because there's no longer a built-in aimbot on controller, which means when they do it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that dude is absolutely cheating. And the AI can go, yeah, dude, that guy was absolutely cheating. And we win-win. We get rid of cheaters. We make controller players actually, show that they're actually better. And then hopefully everybody will be happy. No one will be happy. They'll complain about it. They'll reference this video. I'll be just the scapegoat for all this, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, so those are my 5 things that they need to do to improve in Warzone. Stop sunsetting maps and breaking the game squad sizes. Just scrap all the old weapons for the new ones. Improve the loadout system to offer more functionality and more viable ways to play the game. They need to stop prioritizing resurgence side of BR. We have a massive resurgence thing. Just let resurgence be resurgence and let BR be BR. And reduce the effectiveness of AA auto rotation. And there's one thing more that I'm going to cover about this, because I think that a lot of people in the comments underneath are going to leave this as a comment of what they say they want changed. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information here, and then you can spat out about it underneath, and I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But the final one is skill-based matchmaking, SBMMM. This is not going anywhere, honestly. Primary focus of SBMMM is going to stay, and I know it's going to stay for 2 very important parts. One, it won't be changed because it's already proven that it's super effective at keeping players playing longer, and it's an extortionary system that will remain as long as the primary focus is earning extra playtime, and it is successful. So we already know that's not going to change because it gets you to play the game more. And 2, the biggest problem is skill-based matchmaking isn't your issue. If skill-based matchmaking was the actual issue, everybody would win a lot more, because if you put 100 players of the same value into one lobby, then everybody kind of has a coin flip of whether or not they win. But that's not how that works, is it? Because there's a lot of you that come to me and say every day, they'll say either, wow, you're in a bot lobby, or wow, that's super sweaty. And that's because the game is extortionary. What you're actually dealing with is called engagement-based matchmaking. Engagement-based matchmaking is a system that Activision has been using for quite a while. Blizzard was using for quite a while. Most specifically, it raised a lot of attention inside of Overwatch. Engagement-based matchmaking, essentially enough, could guarantee they could keep you around roughly a 50% win-loss ratio inside of Overwatch, because they could guarantee that the team that you were going to fighting was going to stomp you. And they could guarantee that your team was going to stomp the other team whenever they needed it to. Whenever they needed to move your stats a little bit to keep you playing. Because if you win half and you lose half, you kind of feel like man, I'm always just right there. There's always a chance. But it's not. It's not there. And it's absolutely just fabricated. So engagement-based matchmaking is there to guarantee you win, or just are going to averagely exceed what your average status is at the end of round. So if you always get around, 20th inside solos, every so often engagement-based matchmaking goes, this person's been working hard. We're going to give them a bone, and they'll give you a lobby that you should hit about 10th or 5th, or maybe even win. But they're just trying to give you that little bit of carrot on a stick, just get you, oh man, I got to keep playing. I'm doing really good right now. Well, that's what engagement-based matchmaking is, and that is what you're actually dealing with. It's not skill-based. If it's skill-based, everybody has a chance. But engagement-based, well, if they can give you that little bit of carrot on the stick, you'll keep coming back. And that's why I know this system won't go away, because it is the secret sauce that keeps a lot of the players coming back. Of course, I love to hear what your idea of the top 5 things or top 3 things that you'd love to change coming into Warzone with Treyarch's new game. And I look forward to reading your comments, because I know it will be very spicy. Be good to each other down there and have some very, very good conversations, because in the end, We're the community, so that matters more than specifically what the game is. We gotta have fun out there. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.